PSN. My camera's on too. Hi, everyone. Normally, I'm not on camera, so I'm going to go off camera.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
I want to be able to relax. Hey, everyone. It's Christy.
Okay, that's fine.
You might be wondering why my voice sounds so different, because you're seeing Matthew, who's going to be doing a show. But you have to leave very soon, so please give us the pitch for your show.
So I'm literally on stage. You can see the set piece behind me of Hexagon, Washington's only original satirical political musical comedy review. This year's show is entitled Romp in a Swamp. The entire gist of the show is that archaeologists are cleaning up DC hundreds of years in the future after climate change has turned it back into a swamp. And they're finding, the Washington Monument underwater, and they're getting into the archives of the Supreme Court and, the Capitol building and all that stuff. So all the comedy of looking back on what life was like in the 21st century and why climate change destroyed the earth. So that's where we are. So set, we have an orchestra who said, well, let me flip the cameras here. We have an orchestra who said hi to Christy earlier today.
Yes,
It was
Lighthouse. Yep. So
that sounds like
the swamp.
That sounds like an archaeologist who wrote an article called "Body Ritual Among the Natsarima," and it's all about looking at American culture through the lens of an anthropologist or archaeologist in the future. And it's very, very strange, very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, this is very funny, and once a couple of the videos get posted, I'll give Christy the links to share with everyone.
Definitely, yes. And are there tickets still available? How long is the run?
After today, we've got 5 more shows. Next weekend, 3, and the weekend after that, Friday and Saturday. And tickets are at hexagon.org.
Yeah. Nice. So if you're in the area and have some free time, you should go support the local arts and see a damn fine show.
Being in the area means Washington, D.C. We're at Wilson High School.
Yep. So there you go. Now you know. Excellent.
Thank you very much. I've got work to do, so I'm going to sign off, but I'm glad I got to say hello to everyone.
We are glad you're here.
Hi, Matthew. Bye, Matthew.
We look forward to seeing you on a regular basis at some point in the future.
Yep.
I'll have another theater gig next week, so you'll see me at a different theater at this time next month.
Cool.
And after that, I'll be hopefully at home.
Relaxing, I hope.
Yes.
Good.
All right.
Break a leg.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And I am posting the link to hexagon.org into the live chat for those who are in the Washington State, D.C. area. Not Washington State, Washington, D.C. area. Can go and check out that show that Matthew is currently running the board for the last time today, but other people will be running the board as that show is going on for, like, as he said, 5 more shows. So, yeah.
Thanks, co-host. It's so nice. I can be lazy whenever Jonathan's around.
Yeah, he does your tech for you.
He does. He volunteers for everyone. Like, here's a link you just mentioned. It's in your live chat forever. It's so nice. So how are you guys doing?
I just woke up, more or less.
I woke up about 2 hours ago because I thought we were going to go on at noon because I forgot about the time change here and not time change there.
Right, it's 7 hours now.
Yeah. And I'm absolutely exhausted because I didn't sleep very much last night, and then I got up and I didn't even get up. I didn't go to bed, and I came and watched your stream this morning for 2.5, almost 3 hours.
I was wondering, what is Tom doing in there at this hour? So it's nice to see you.
Running on nerves, basically.
Red Bull and nicotine?
No, I'm not. Nicotine and caffeine pills. That was pretty much it.
Okay, that's kind of Red Bull, basically.
Yeah,
but in pill form.
Yeah.
Oh,
so, now I'll see how long I can tolerate being awake, or how long you can tolerate me being awake.
Oh, at any point you need to crash out, don't worry. But we don't want you falling asleep on camera. That would just be Not good.
Yeah, David Skoog.
Yes,
How do you pronounce his name?
I say Skog,
I say
Skog.
Skog.
Okay.
but I'm from Wisconsin.
Yeah, Wisconsin. On the where was it? When I was on the Social Justice Academy yesterday.
Alchemy.
Alchemy. Alchemy? Okay, I got it wrong.
Okay, that's good.
Said he always feels sad when I say that I'm old because he knows that means I'm about to leave because I'm tired. So I'm hoping he comes on today because then I'd be able to when I do crash out, I'll be able to reference him. And now you know the rest of the story.
Paul Harvey. Thanks, Paul Harvey.
Yes,
that's an old timers reference.
Yes, it is. I remember him when he was not very old at all.
Oh, well, we're glad to have you for as long as you can keep your eyelids open. So, Mariana, how about you?
Yes.
You've gotten over laryngitis.
Yes.
Oh man.
It was fun. I couldn't talk at all for 2 days. And when my mom called to check in, and on Thursday, you sound like a very, very deep well. Then on Friday in the morning, she said, now you sound like a didgeridoo. And yesterday she said, you sound almost human.
The didgeridoo is my favorite.
Yeah. And well, yeah, things are good here. I hope this year won't be as dry as last year. And I survived March. March is always trying to kill me. But I survived.
So like 7 more days and it's over.
Yeah, well, I already had this year's attempt a few weeks ago, so yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're already in the clear.
Yes.
Good.
Now, important question from Adam Ranks that they're in the live chat. Is Mariana rolling a splint today?
Yes, I am. It takes the form of a poncho.
That's a mighty large splint then.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that leaves Tim.
Hey everybody.
Hey.
My wife's on vacation. She went back home for a while again. So I'm on my own for another week or so again, like before, just working. And
how long was she back? When did she get back?
December 12th.
So I thought she was gone the last time we talked too. Oh, she was coming back. Sorry, I'm confused. I have a hard time keeping track of her movements.
Oh, sorry. No, she left in October and then she came back in December and then she was here until December 12th until like a week ago.
Okay.
It's a lot shorter time this time. Like,
okay.
8 or 9 weeks last time. That's like 2 weeks this time. It's just like a relative of hers is dying. So yeah, that's why she went back. Because like, even though they're like a very secular country, they're still Muslims and they still have to bury the person within like 24 hours. And like that came up a lot in the media lately with the New Zealand massacre because they were just like, I don't think a lot of people know that, like, that according to their tradition, like I think it's like even all Muslims, I don't think it's like a Sunni or Shia thing. It's just like they all respect that burial tradition, so they kind of had to like hurry up and get them into the ground as soon as possible. Like I had heard that before because it's come up different other times that I've heard. Not always with like that kind of violence, but just other times I've encountered Islam in my life. So I knew about that, and that's why she had to go over there to attend to that. So yeah.
I remember finding it very odd when I moved to England and was living in the UK, that someone said, "Oh, I'm going to a memorial service," and I said, "Oh, I didn't know your friend died." They said, "Well, yeah, but it was like 6 months ago, but the memorial service is now." I found that very strange because in our Catholic community where I grew up, it was 3 days. And I know for some, other people like 24 hours, and I don't know how much of that has to do with, obviously when we have burial and ritual burial ceremonies. I think your geography have a lot to do with that kind of thing, because in terms of like Wisconsin or frozen areas in the winter, you just couldn't say we have to bury someone in 24 hours. You just have to, but I think in predominantly, sand areas where it's hot. I think Jewish people too I saw a joke about older grandparents not wanting to take a nap in front of their kids in case they think they died, and started the process of burying them. So, but yeah, it is interesting the way that those sort of even when they're not relevant to, because we have modern technology and other people move around the globe, those histories stay with us and they're very important to people. Like maintaining those rituals becomes important themselves. They transcend the idea that they were initially there to support or deal with.
They can evolve over time to be very different. Like I know, like in Judaism, since we're talking about that, like if you went back to like the time of of Christ about 2,000 years ago or whatever or so, the Jewish burial tradition was a lot different. They used something called an ossuary, and they just a small like stone or concrete box, and they would just put the bones in there, and they would like wait till the person decomposed, and they just put them and buried them in like these like small like crypts. And nowadays they don't do that anymore. They have more of like a traditional, I guess what we in North America would consider like a normal burial, where they put them in the ground and then that's it basically. But I mean, I guess we have a religion that's like over 6,000 years old. That can happen.
Yeah. I mean, when watching Time Team, sorry, Marianne, I'm going to say this and I interrupted you, then I'll let you speak. But on Time Team, a lot of time, they can often start to get an idea of the time period of a skeleton, if it's a burial, based on the position of the body. Is it in a fetal position or is it laying straight out? Is it sort of diagonal, east to west, facing the east or other way? They can, because burial rituals, even within Christianity, changed over the centuries and the practices evolved over time, and they're epoch specific. So yeah.
In Alpine areas, burial space was limited. So after some time, the remains were exhumed, and skeletons, there's usually only the skull and some of the lung bones left. Those were stored in a bone house.
Yeah, and of course, very famously, Richard the Lionheart, he has his heart buried, is it in Ames, and his body is in Fontainebleau?
Yeah.
Or Rouen.
I think his body's in Fontainebleau, that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Because like English history or British history is kind of like one of my favorite things to study. But I think, yes, his heart is in a different place than his body. That's
either Rouen or Ames, and I think I've been to both, so I can't remember which one it was. Hey, Leto might know. Maybe not.
Leto.
I'm just assuming because you live in France, you know these things, and that's so unfair. Hey, dear, how are you doing?
I'm just back from the in-laws, and I have eaten so much I'm going to explode, I think.
Well, unbuckle your belt, sit down, get comfortable.
Yeah, I'm taking some what's the name? Paracetamol.
Paracetamol.
And, yeah, I'm taking that, and after
so much
the show, I am going to bed.
You ate so much you need an aspirin?
It's not aspirin.
Antacid. It's like Tums.
No, it's, I don't know, between the...
It's like a Tylenol?
Fatigue and the sun right in the face, because it's
okay.
The weather is ridiculous here. It's summer already.
Nice.
So
so you did you overdo it a little bit in the enthusiasm of it not being winter anymore?
Yeah, I don't know. I have some kind of a mild headache, nothing bad, but I'm taking something for that, and I'm letting my body digest a little.
Good.
And then I'm going to go sleep.
An
I
early
am
night.
exhausted.
I do recall that experience of going out to Akanavaya someplace, at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then just lying in the direct sun all day. And it's, maybe 72 degrees, 21 Celsius, 72 Fahrenheit, or 74 Fahrenheit. And you think, oh, it's just nice and being in the sun, but it's just pounding on you all day. And then drinking all the beer doesn't help. And then by 5 o'clock, you're just like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've gotten out of the sauna. My body is heavy and tired.
Yeah, and you need to go sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what happened today.
Yeah, coma.
We went to take a walk because it was nice outside, and we all need to walk a little because we are well, not my partner, he's okay, but my in-laws need to walk too. They have a blood problem in the legs, when it doesn't flow right. Yeah, and they need to walk. I need to walk because I'm a fat little piggy.
Stop it.
And no, I really am, for real. So that was a short walk, but it was nice. Hard but nice.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kevin just starting to rub off all the time.
Yeah,
oh, wait, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
What did you think I would know? Because when I arrived, you said that I...
Oh, where Richard the Lionheart's heart is buried, not his body. We know that's in Fontainebleau. But is his heart in Ames or Rouen? I think it was Rouen because that's the capital.
I have no fucking clue.
The capital of Normandy, right? And their territories.
They
consider themselves to be more French than English, actually. Back
then.
Definitely.
Rouen is in Normandy, yes.
The Plantagenets, that's what they call themselves.
Well, the Plantagenets, the Normans were different. Oh yeah, you're right. No, the Plantagenets, you're correct.
That dynasty was from Normandy.
Yes, correct. Yes, you're right. I'm just thinking of Richard in particular, but yes, you're correct on that.
Yeah, so I suck at the story, so I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I don't know.
Tim and I are just geeking out on the 100 Years' War. It's okay.
I didn't even know it was buried in France, to tell you the truth.
Richard the Lionheart, you didn't know? Oh, okay. I actually stood next to his heart. I feel terrible now. But the thing is, I visited both Ames and Rouen, and I can't remember which one. But I stood there because it is standing next to history. The guy was a dick, but he knew a lot of really cool people, like a lot of big people. He, sparred with Saladin.
Okay, you say Rouen, and what's the other one?
Ames.
Oh, write it down, please.
Oh, maybe A-I-M.
E-I-M-S or something.
Oh God, hold on just a second. Alexa, where is the heart of Richard the Lionheart buried? I'll have to ask Google if she doesn't know.
No, this is very important information that we must get correct.
Oh, she found something.
I don't know the city you were talking about. That's why.
Oh, Rouen. Okay, Alexa knew. It was buried at Rouen. Okay, so thank you, Alexa. Shut up now. She's still talking.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's Alexa for you.
Oh gosh, she's still going. Woman, shut up. Okay.
My partner installed a laptop for his parents yesterday to take them and to take it to them today, and there was Cortana, and it was like, oh, shut up. He doesn't need Cortana to help him install the shit.
Oh yeah, that's so annoying.
It's his job, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I don't have Cortana activated on my laptop. I guess that's for the better, though.
Yeah. I have enough between Alexa and Google. I have all my information needs taken care of.
Now, I do talk to Google quite a bit. It's just when I'm at my laptop and just like typing word and I have dyslexia, so I'll be like, I've never seen that word, so I don't know how to spell it. It's discrepancy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's how to spell it.
I do that too.
I have to say, I find it really delightful to see YouTubers insult their artificial intelligence, like Alexa and OK Google, and seeing people asking them something and then, oh, shut up, it's okay now, shut up, and I don't know. Sometimes the AI reacts for nothing.
I do say thank you to her.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
and she says you're welcome.
She says some different things. Alexa, thank you.
No problem.
She gave me the silent treatment. Maybe I missed it.
I think she says you bet, and of course, and
like happy to be of service or happy I could help, something like that.
I'm sorry, Dave. I
That's
can't do that.
Or 5 different ones.
They creep me the fuck out.
I think for me, I say thank you because I don't want to just start taking an interaction for granted. I don't want to desensitize myself and just assume that, because it could transfer to my human relationships. So I try to have a more human relationship with Alexa than, I'm not talking to you. Then I do. I'm kind of like Kevin, basically.
Yeah, that's a good...
Just say Cortana. That doesn't seem to like activate anyone else's like Windows PC or anything like that. Saying Alexa does. I just did it. I'm sorry, everyone. Saying it seems to do that, or saying Google doesn't seem to do that. But you have to say okay, Google, and sorry. But then but it's always that seems to be doing that.
There was
Alexa is solitary confinement torture according to international law. That's according to Anna Rain's doctor in the live chat. Who knows about like solitary confinement?
She would say, "I'm sorry, I can't help you with that," or "I don't know that information."
I still need the. You go ahead.
No ethical
There's a brand
under capitalism
of SatNav in Germany that you can. That has voice control. And usually you have to say Sprachbefehl, so voice command, and then it'll activate. The thing, I have one of those things, and there's a dashcam YouTuber who has one of the things, and for me it has activated for a high-pitched violin on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yes, me going at another driver, and a sneeze, and the list of the truck driver who does dashcam videos, and his SatNav has activated is a very strong sigh, coughing, a random word on the radio. So their voice command thingy is not very good, especially because it doesn't listen to my voice, only to random sounds. And when I then say Abbruch, so they cancel, it doesn't react because my voice is too high.
Oh, no. Have you seen that comedy skit of the talking elevator that has a British, it's in English, but it's the elevator is installed in Scotland? and two Scottish guys get in there and they're like, floor 7. I'm sorry, I don't understand. 7. And they try different accents. It's really funny. You should look it up.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
But my friends have a SatNav. It's not one of the special ones. It's just a regular, it's not voice activated. But Stephen Fry has read out all of the stuff and made some witty quips. And so they listen to Stephen Fry gives them directions to where they need to go.
Joey Jojo in the chat also said, I always say please and thank you to Alexa, so I'm the one that's going to be the last one to die.
Good plan.
Well, that's a good reason. I do it because I'm from Wisconsin. And
Built in.
Just what we do.
I don't have Alexa. She can die with her mouth open.
I have to say, I wasn't sure I'd use it, but I have bedroom lights hooked up, and so I use it to turn my bedroom lights on and off at night when I'm going to bed. That's so nice to be like cuddling yourself into bed and then just say out loud, I won't say her name, bedroom lights off, and then they go down to nothing. And also I use her for my alarm every morning. So and weather forecast. So it's really not, it's very daily routine kind of things, but I don't use it for a lot of the apps and things that they have on it.
Oh my god! I just remembering. If I set it up so when it says computer, then I can live out my Star Trek fantasies now. Which is just have it play like the Mambo or something, or Strasbourg, or like a Bach.
Oh, I do have her play stuff from my Spotify list when I'm warming up for a show. I do that.
Mm-hmm.
So. It is, I mean, what I find is I don't really notice her so much until I go to a hotel, and then I have to figure out a different way to set my alarm. I'm like, oh, I got to use my phone because Alexa's not here, bitch. I need you. Where's my 21st century technology?
You have to set up for Google.
Yes. I wish Google did the same thing on my phone where I could just voice activate it. But anyway, so... All right, this is a random conversation.
Well, what do we have anything planned? Does anyone have anything planned? You have the floor now. Have everything. You have the floor.
Everything came to my mind. I wrote it in the chat at your stream today.
Yeah.
And when John Peterson said, "Yeah, because children need role models." Well, yeah, nice. I'm a gender. I didn't have any role models of my gender.
Not for if he had his way, all of them would be removed from society because it would be about enforced monogamy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And lobsters for some reason, I'm sure.
Lobster nightshirts.
And don't forget fruit face.
Did you see him hawking his nightshirt or whatever it was with a blue background and red lobsters on it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh God.
He at least knows his brand.
Yeah.
That man is a national embarrassment. Anyway.
Yeah, I guess it's time for the Canadians. I mean, normally your embarrassments are pretty mild ones compared to American embarrassments, like Justin Bieber.
Should we run through all the alt-right white?
Well, okay, yeah. Lately, I'm thinking like when I grew up, it was like Canadians were William Shatner and Mike Myers and Celine Dion and Bryan Adams, but now it's Crowder and
we don't talk about Bryan Adams anymore. He's okay.
Is Steven Crowder not?
Wait, no, maybe he's not. I was just who's Canadian problems?
There's the guy that got owned by his Alexa. Is Steven Crowder?
Oh, tell the story. I don't know about this. Tell us.
I'd have to find the videos to see exactly what happened, but it's on the majority part. It should be easy to find. Just let me look it up and I'll see if I can find what happened exactly. I think he asked me a question and basically
don't talk out loud, some random geek. Just type. Sorry, Tim, you were saying?
During a math test at school, teacher sided up to me. Please calculate quietly in your head. That was the answers.
Without actually watching the video, he asked a question about I think something like gender fluidity or something like that, and then it told him basically like that gender is
a spectrum,
is a non-scientific complex or basically or it's not. It's like it's social science, not hard science, right?
Right.
Like that's what I told him, right? And it's like he's like, and it just blew his mind because his whole he's one of those of course people. There's only two genders, people, right? And they confuse consistently the term sex, which is the scientific natural science terminology for male and female.
Wait, isn't he the guy who is famous for that photo where he's in a booth?
He changed my mind.
Changed my mind. There's only two genders. Is that him?
Yes, that's him.
Oh God, I want to punch him. I never heard him talk, but I want to punch him in the face just because his face.
He's a more famous if Bering was an American and actually had mainstream credibility and to conservatives, that's what he is. He's like that level of humor, that level of jingo dude bro racism. It's so pedantic and predictable. That it's just
and wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's people like Peterson who are racist in an intellectual level, but there's just everyman bloke idiot racism and he's that kind of person like Trump supporter level lowbrow. It's everyman racism, I call it. It's there's some people dress it up a little bit. They put a little more effort into it, and because he goes around and goes to college campuses, changing my mind about climate change or you know, gender fluid or whatever else. He's done like several times, but he also does like skits like where he'll go up and like try to like hire like Hispanic people on the side of the road in random places in America who he doesn't know if they're citizens or not. That might just be their trade, is they're laborers or whatever, right?
Day laborer.
Yeah, he doesn't know, like, because there's plenty of people in America that are just day laborers and then they were born there and everything else, or they naturally citizens. But he doesn't. But since he's a racist, he's like, oh, they're Mexican or they're you know, from Colombia or whatever else. They must not be here legally. So he, like, you know, goes in, tries to like hire them and like, and then he's like, oh, I'm checking your papers or whatever. You know, he's not like cop or nothing like that.
What a prick.
Yeah.
Is he the one where Elon Musk was smoking a joint on his show? Or?
He might have been like, he's kind of like.
No, that's Joe Rogan.
That's Rogan.
Oh,
okay. No, yeah, Rogan is Rogan's weird. You know, he's like kind of like, sometimes he's like, he calls out people.
He's kind of an asshole too, to be honest.
Yeah, he's a prick. But like Milo got exposed on his show. That's what people used to you know, basically him as a pedo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was on Joe Rogan's show. Like that was the clip everybody used to, like that girl from Canada, that 16-year-old girl who was the one that, you know, put that together and put it out there, and then Reagan Battalion put it out there.
And there was also the drunken peasants bit too.
Well, yeah, because like the YouTuber SJW101, the political gamer, did a video of that about that Joe Rogan clip back in 2016. Kevin Logan saw that and thought, that's great. Let me do my own version of it. And Kevin Logan did a much quicker video of that and put on his channel while using SJW101 political gamers video. And that it was that video, Kevin Logan's video version of that video, that the Drunken Princess responded to, and then
Milo.
With Milo, and then Milo said further things to like, it's just like, whoa, dude, oh, and and that's how Milo is almost no longer Milo, but he's still around somehow.
Oh, and lots of money and not able to get into Australia or New Zealand or wherever.
He's been like, he's just, no one cares about him. He won Alex Jones and he like tried to get a job there, and then like they're so homophobic that like he couldn't. He tried to like tell like one of his like, you know, off-color jokes he tells about like, you know,
being gay or something.
I'm really careful about what I would put in my body, you know. And then he's like, oh, I can't make a joke because people are homophobes.
Yeah.
And so, and then like his book, he lost his book deal, and then I think he got something published, and it didn't sell hardly anything at all. Anyway.
Got fired from Breitbart.
Yeah, because like they're like, people like Ben Shapiro is a horrible person too, but they're like, oh yeah, we don't want a pedo enabler here, you know. There's like the bridge too far, like, you know.
That's it. You can say anything except for advocating pedophilia before conservatives will turn their backs on you.
Yeah, because they believe all the horrible things. Because he's like a useful idiot, because he's like Candace Owens or you know, any other like minority that is on their side that they can use, like, say, like, oh look, we have this person, you know, we're not racist, you know, we're not gay, or I mean we're not homophobic, I mean anti-gay there, sorry, but and you can run out the whole list. There's a whole lot of people like that throughout the years, you know. So he's kind of, they just own him because, you know, that's the one bridge they can't cross. Is like although they try to cross it with remember a couple years ago there was that Senate candidate
Roy Moore.
You know, if it's like if it's underage sex between a man and a woman, that's okay because they'll justify that. They try to justify that with the Bible. But if it's like, you know, it's that icky, you know, homosexual you know, underage sex, that's too far. Like that's the line that they won't cross that line, but they'll try to defend, like, you know, an older man and a young girl. That's okay.
Right.
Because she was asking for it.
My mommy got married when she was 15.
Yeah.
Apparently there's still a lot of underage marriage in the United States.
Yes.
There's several studies that show that, like, I think as young as 10 and it's up to like 16, 17. A lot of states don't have like minimum ages.
Some do, yeah. A lot of them do, but also they have parental waivers.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of other social change in the U.S. It's a very slow burn, but eventually it gets there, like gay marriage did.
Mm.
And marijuana is coming because there's a couple of states that have it now, like Washington, Colorado have legalized marijuana, like in Canada. So it's very slow.
I think blue states have an easier time with the child marriage. Well, that's not fair because I think there was a state like Arkansas or something that did it a couple of years ago. But it's surprising, you know, in some places where you see Republicans resisting that attempt to raise the marriage age, which is
problem is that
it really surprising though?
I guess it's just disgusting.
Yes, it's disgusting, but surprising? Not really.
The problem with the whole thing is that the evangelicals are very, very keen on marrying off their daughters very young, because they think if they know nothing and pop one kid out after the other from, let's say, age 15 on, then they'll stay married because they have nowhere else to go.
Yep.
That's...
And a girl's education, you know, when they get married, it starts to suffer and all kinds of, it's also very high divorce rates, and it can be a way for basically pedophiles to marry their victims.
Right.
Yep.
You know, so it's messed up.
Girls have been forced to marry their rapists.
People say that people are 16 are too young to vote.
Yes.
But you say what? It's okay for them to get married? They can make a lifelong commitment, but they can't make one choice in one election along with millions of other people at the same time?
I saw a headline about, I don't remember what state, said that underage girls are too immature to decide to have an abortion. But they're not too immature to have a fucking child?
Yeah.
What? I mean, how fucked up is that?
I mean,
it's Florida, of course. I just stumbled upon it. Florida abortion bill would require judge to rule if teens mature enough to terminate pregnancy.
Yeah, because you want to have a child in that case, yes. And what's even more strange for me is in the US, for the large part, you need to be 21 to buy a beer.
Mm-hmm.
But you can be 11 to get married if your parents say it's okay. How does that fit?
It doesn't.
I say if you're not old enough to drink, you're not old enough to be married.
Mm-hmm. Parental consent, apparently, which is
This was 3 weeks ago. Idaho bill ending child marriage before 16 was voted down in the state house.
Oh, jeez.
Idaho has the highest rate of child marriage in the country, according to a report published last year by advocacy group Unchained at Last. This week, state lawmakers had a chance to change that, but the state's GOP-led House of Representatives voted down an Idaho child marriage bill that would have set a minimum age to get married at 16 years old. Of 38 state legislatures, 38 states, I'm trying to scroll and talk and read at the same time. Of the 38 states that the Unchained at Last studied in the report, Idaho reported having the highest rate of child marriages at 0.29%. From 2000 to 2010, 4,080 minors got married in Idaho, per the report, with the youngest being 13 years old. According to Newsweek, Idaho law currently permits children under 16 to get married as long as they have both parental and judicial consent. What judge says that's okay? Children who are 16 or 17 years old merely have to obtain parental consent. And it was basically a Democratic woman who proposed a bipartisan bill that would prevent children under 16 from getting married. And let's see what the Republicans said. Passing it would make it easier in the state to obtain an abortion at 15. Okay.
What the fuck?
Yeah. All right. So, however, the state's House voted 39 to 28 against the bill in an effort led by GOP lawmakers, according to Boise State Public Radio. Republican State Representative Christy Zito argued that passing Whitrow's proposed legislation would, quote, make it easier in the state of Idaho to obtain an abortion at 15 years old than it will to decide to form a family and create a family for a child that has been conceived. the Idaho Statesman reported. Idaho law currently allows minors to obtain an abortion with the consent of one parent or a judge. So she's saying, oh, because it's easier to get an abortion than to get married, we should vote down this bill. Fucking Republicans. Sorry, I'll just finish this off. Other Republican opponents to the proposed child marriage bill argued it would result in excessive government and judicial oversight, per The Hill. Yes, because they're children. State Representative Zollinger argued that he did not, quote, think courts should be involved in marriage at all. Okay, well, that's not what the bill was on. Sorry, I keep commenting. The Statesman reported, while State Representative Julia Ann Young insisted that the decision to get married, quote, should belong with families. I believe in parental consent, which is what the law is right now, should be sufficient. We already require a judge to sign off if a person is under 16.
If a person is not able to enter into a fucking contract, they shouldn't be able to get married.
There's already a judge involved when the person is under 16?
So what it says is both parents and a judge.
There are already judges signing off on child marriages.
Over 4,000 between 2000 and 2010. A 13-year-old.
Honestly, they can talk about how it's savages in Muslim land or whatever. Honestly, look at your own face in the mirror, Americans.
Yeah,
I'm disgusted. I knew it was going on in the US, but I didn't know judges were involved in that. I'm... Ew!
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what's wrong with having them wait 2 or 3 years? I don't understand what's the problem with why.
But the kids will be born out of wedlock and the sky will fall.
Yeah, exactly. Because adding a marriage, a legal contract that you have to pay a judge to give you permission to break up is a solution to that.
And plus, also, as Adam Ramsdottir has mentioned in the live chat, that kids as young as 14 have been sentenced to football numbers for a crime they committed at 12. So we charge young people as adults when they're 14 or 16 for crimes, but yet
they won't let them vote until they're 18.
Or too young to smoke and too young to drink booze and too young to drive. And it's like, but when they commit a crime, they're adults now because they're tough on crime.
Well, when they're not white and they commit a crime.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's that otherness of younger boys where there's a known phenomenon that teenage boys are perceived as being older than they are by people who are white.
Even sub-teen. Even elementary school kids in discipline issues with school resource officers.
Yep.
That's not an issue only in the US, though. That's an issue in white countries. To be tougher on people of color than on white people.
Yeah.
Even if you fancy yourself a progressive, or it's a bias that it's hard to.
I don't know how it is elsewhere, but in Germany it's also the type of crime, because often if you commit something right-wing leaning, you get very lenient issues, and if you do something lefty, then they're thought to look at you. There was this whole thing with the NSU, the National Socialist Underground, a few years back, where 2 men and a woman were killing immigrant business owners. And they also killed a policewoman. And the Bundeskriminalamt had all the data and the Verfassungsschutz, but they had those blinkers. Well, immigrant business owners get shot execution style, must be organized crime. But I was sitting there, okay, all with the same gun. That, okay, organized crime is one possibility. But racism is also one. Why don't you look at that? And they found them out by accident.
Rather than because they were looking for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Bias. Yeah. Cognitive biases. We all are born with them, and the only way to deal with them is to acknowledge we have them and try to be aware of them and counter them when we, notice them and be vigilant. Yeah. That's the kind of work that the right wingers complain about. Oh my gosh, I have to think about other people. Oh.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah. What a fun topic we're on.
Yeah.
I wanted to share an article with you to share the shittiness among countries.
All right,
so you don't feel alone. But for some reason I can't find it now.
What was it?
Oh, it was something very nice, like French politicians allowing. Oh, I found it. French politicians allowing the military to shoot yellow vest protesters.
Nice.
Ain't that French? So it's in the chat here, and I can go on YouTube and stick it there if you want to read it.
Okay, yeah, we now it's in there twice.
I got it.
So I'm not gonna read from the thingy because like I said, I'm really tired, and also I've been off nicotine for 3 days now. 3 days.
Yeah.
And it's hard, and same. It's how do you say, like caffeine and stuff like that? How do you
withdrawals?
Yeah.
No, it's what
Jitters?
kind of substance
Jitteries?
are they? They are stimulants. Oh,
Okay.
thank you, Jonathan. So nicotine is a stimulant. So without that, I'm pretty tired. And
I can't, the fact is you're speaking English at such a high level that, like stimulant is a very niche word. It's not a common word in English. Don't apologize because you don't know like technical terms.
Yeah, it's the same word in French though. So
oh yeah, that's always a good guess. Just say the word in your own language and just do it with like an American accent and see if people recognize it.
In reverse, I once sat through a talk by a French physicist whose slides were in English, and his talk was in English as well, I think, but he pronounced all the words the French way.
Yes.
So yeah, if someone wants to read from the article, you're welcome to do it. But I think,
did you want us to read it out loud?
No, I don't know. As you want.
Basically, okay, I can do it.
I just wanted to share the shittiness of my country with you, so you can feel better about yours.
I want to read the shittiness of France.
All right. So yesterday, the governor of the Paris Military District told France Info that soldiers of the Operation Sentinel counter-terrorism mission had been authorized to fire today on the yellow vests. Asked about whether soldiers were capable of carrying out the law enforcement duties, General Bruno Le Ray replied, "Our orders are sufficiently clear that we do not need to be worried at all. The soldiers' rules of engagement will be fixed very rigorously. They will have they will have different means for action faced with all types of threats," he said. He continued, "that can go as far as opening fire."
Nice, isn't it?
Basically, they have the same rules of engagement. They have to deliver warnings. This happens in the past. And yes, but still, are authorizing shooting on your own citizens, that's messed up.
Yeah, especially in France where rioting and protesting is basically part of the culture. We do that every other week, for fuck's sake.
Yes. I mean, in Germany, there's a section in the Grundgesetz that explicitly forbids the German army to do anything in Germany except humanitarian aid in catastrophic situations. Like if there's flooding, they're allowed to build dams. But anything involving policing, they're not allowed to do.
Well, we have some part of our police force in France is already from the military. They are the gendarmes. It's they are military. They are not police, but their duties are police duties, law enforcement duties. I mean, so that's a precedent that they are using, I think.
Yeah.
In the U.S., I think it's the Posse Comitatus law that states that you can't sort of deploy the U.S. military on, on our soil. And for instance, like when Trump deployed people to the border, and I think they might still be there, even though the election was in November, and there is no caravan invasion. But anyway, if the people rushed the fences and the soldiers on the U.S. soil side started shooting people, they would not be treated like the border agents. They would be treated like a civilian because they don't have that same protection operating on U.S. soil. In the similar way, they can do national emergencies and whatever else. But
isn't that the National Guard part of the military in the U.S.?
Right, but that's a state. That's a state. Generally, unless it's nationalized for an emergency, it's a state.
The National Guard is able to.
Yeah, but they are military, aren't they?
Well, they're under the power of the governor, so they don't really have defensive.
Oh, okay.
It's usually emergency, like national fires or national fire emergencies or flooding or things like that. And they can be called up in reserve. Like during the Iraq War, a lot of National Guards men and women were called up.
Mad about that because they're not supposed to do that. They send the National Guard overseas, and they're not supposed to, and they did it anyways because they didn't have enough troops.
Well, I think the National Guard is part of legitimately part of the American military.
Yeah.
During World War II, my father and uncles were all in a local National Guard unit, and they were called up and sent overseas, and that was part of the deal. They're part of the reserve forces for the United States.
Right, but they are, in peacetime, you want to say, under the control of the governor of the state.
Yeah, so they have a right to operate on U.S. soil. So
yeah,
okay.
They belong to each state, I guess, but they're reserve force.
No, I'm asking because I wanted to know if there was an equivalent to the gendarme, and I think the National Guard is the closest, maybe.
Was it a National Guard who shot the students at Kent State?
Yes.
Yes, I believe it was.
Yes, that's why I'm asking, actually, because
I was going to say that during Vietnam, a lot of the major protests, especially at major universities, the governors had called out the National Guard, and there are pictures of hippies protesting the war, sticking flowers down the gun barrels of the National Guardsmen who were facing them, and the National Guardsmen were generally the same age as the
I saw that
protesters.
Picture.
And half of the time, well, not half the time, but often enough, when the National Guardsmen were out of uniform, they were protesting too. So
yeah,
Tom, we can't see you anymore. Oh, now you're back. Never mind.
Yeah, it was just like sometimes we see Tom, but sometimes we don't. I think it's just like the
comes and goes.
Yeah, it comes and goes. Tom comes and goes, and so and
on by the way, did Tom
fading.
Already mention he is old today?
I've mentioned it earlier in another context, but yeah, I'm not going to say it now because I'm not quite ready to leave. I am fading, though. I will say that. And now you're telling me that I'm fading for real. So
no, technologically fading. Your own energy level is something completely different than the way you're fading now.
I wouldn't count on it. I think my energy level might actually have something to do with my technology.
Kevin posted a link to the social Justice Alchemist channel, and I commented on it that I swear with a French accent that Jonathan looks like a supervillain, and that Tommy is old, and John tries to keep it together.
Yeah, we don't have our superpowers.
This is the second time I think that this channel was mentioned. What is the social justice alchemy thing?
Oh, it's the
John Brockman.
John Brockman does a podcast on it, and he has invited Jonathan, Tom, and I to talk with him permanently. So every week we go to talk on this channel.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know this. Because I know all of you guys. Why don't you promote this in the group?
Oh, I have. I mean, yesterday, John Brockman was quite sneaky, and he said, "And we're live." It's like, what? We're
What?
doing it live?
We're
Yeah,
live?
we were so used to like recording it, and then he would just like put it up on his channel, and then he'll put it up separately as a podcast. But he edited it down to 30 minutes, and so just for time for some reason. But we've been doing that for like so yesterday he used the first time where it's like actually live stream. So I was like, well, let's actually get it on it. So then I did promote it to the Christy and Kevin Happy Hour Facebook group, as well as like on my Twitter, on my Facebook.
I must have missed it.
Yeah, Hank also said that he was traveling at the moment, so that's why Culture Shots couldn't join in the live chat. But Jamie J was there at the very end. David Skog was in there in the live chat as well.
And someone called Shaker that I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to post the channel of Social Justice Alchemy into the live chat right now, so those people can check it out. Because all of the past episodes of Social Justice Alchemy is also up on that channel, and also not edited down to time. It's just like it's all there mostly, and there is like a couple of episodes that John Brockman or Shurgo Shan did in the past, a two-parter on Jordan Peterson that actually provides quite a bit of links, and so he'll also that they'll be on his blog, ShurgoShan.
God, Jonathan, slow down.
And I haven't had that much caffeine. I've just been drinking my like little liquid water enhancer with caffeine. But I do have an energy drink next to me in cold brand and Rainbow Unicorn. I don't know. I guess this is what Rainbow Unicorn would taste like. But anyway, and I'm going to open this up and not slow down at all. I'm very sorry.
I think you've had enough caffeine.
As we're just talking about podcasts, I encountered a new one. It's called I Don't Speak German, where Daniel Harper and Jack Graham talk about the alt-right.
Oh.
Yeah.
About that, not what I was expecting after you described the title.
Yes, it wasn't what I expected either, but I was linked to it on David Futrell's blog. I put it here. They have a episode on Charlottesville and 2 episodes on Christopher Cantwell.
The crying Nazi.
Yeah, the crying Nazi. Very interesting.
Well, speaking of podcasts, which is a weird transition because I'm actually going to skip over the happy hour because I haven't really talked to too many people about the live show that I do on Sundays. But one person, I think Tom mentioned, or Marianne, you brought it up, and maybe Tom too because you were there. But you guys, I talk to the chat, but I don't talk to real people. You liking the Sunday show?
Wait a minute.
No, I mean on the Sunday live show, I just have the interactive chat. I don't have an actual interact with people. So maybe get me some feedback about what you like about the show, what goes too long. I mean, you'll disagree, and I'll probably ignore it all. But it just kind of happens. The show just happens.
I like it all, and don't change a thing.
Oh, okay.
Now you have to. Disagree.
Not listen to Tom and actually change everything.
Come on.
I'm taking time, so
be consistent at least.
Yeah.
Well, since you're not going to listen to our advice whatsoever, keep everything the same and change nothing at all.
Okay. All right.
Including your views.
No, yeah, anyway. I think it's good as it is. Maybe I don't watch it always. I like pick and choose the subject.
Yeah, of course. I do that with channels too, so that's fine.
And the ones I have watched are quite good as they are, I think.
Okay.
I usually put a bar around in the kitchen and make lunch at the time, so
Okay. So you just sort of leave me in the corner to natter on.
Yes.
Good. That's what it's meant for.
Yeah.
I a couple of times I have like actually attempted to just like wake up at 3 a.m. in order to like watch it. How today would have been like 4 a.m. actually, so an hour later. But like, it's like, but hey, a couple of times I did mention like help you, like tell you, Christy, you're muted.
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
Yes, that was very helpful. I rely on audience feedback. I get better every time. But I'm hoping when my work slows down a little bit, so after June of this year, I might have a bit more energy. And so I might do a show like a different week, like a weeknight show, for instance, more 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, my time, which would be more in the afternoon in the US. So that's also a possibility going forward with that. You know, so good. Okay, well then, if that focus group didn't really work,
Well, you
When
said that
I poisoned the well. Yeah,
not changed. So I did like the photos from your vacation to Venice. I did like that. That's quite cool. And so I also do like how you're reading from like certain books, because as like as moving forward, people are just going to read less and less. It's kind of nice to have like some people to be able to like read a chapter or so of this book or this book, and like at least learn tangentially through that, and may get some people to actually read those books as well. So I do enjoy that kind of thing, and I do enjoy some of your takes on the news as well, and some of the Trump stuff, or some of the horribleness, or some of the like dramas. Oh, but do please continue telling us about like all of these like rapper YouTubers that no one knows. Because like you are introducing a whole new audience to that whole thing, while a vibrator in Marianne's background suddenly turns on for some reason. I'm sorry, that's what immediately came to mind when I heard that noise.
taking it out of the dishwasher.
But you're asexual, so it's like it wouldn't be a vibrator. I just remembered that.
It was probably the dishwasher.
Asexuality is not. We have to talk about that, I think, Jonathan.
True. I remember that now. Yes.
No misconception. I think that. Yeah.
Well, that's all really good and useful feedback, Jonathan. And today I was looking around for something to read, because I wasn't jazzing on anything in the feminism book, but I realized all my nerdy books are in the office, because that's where I mostly use them. So I'm gonna have to start bringing some more like introduction to social science books home with me, and so I have them on the shelf to open up and read different things. And in terms of, I'm trying to think of the other things you said.
Can I make a request of something that maybe you and Kevin do? I know you guys talked about like Bernie at one point, but can you talk about like the other people running in the 2020 Democratic primary? Like, because
I think we will. It's just so early.
Right.
I think at this point, it's more that I want time to sift out. So there's like 15 of them.
Yeah. There might be more coming too.
Yeah. You know, so Yang but then So go ahead, Jonathan.
I think a better time to do that would be like closer to like an actual debate that's happening.
Yeah, June.
Or before or afterwards. And then of course next year the Iowa caucus will start. And so there'll be more talk about that then. The only reason why we're hearing about these announcements now for all these candidates, even Howard Schultz, fuck Howard Schultz.
Yeah.
It's because they're trying to raise money now for their campaign as well.
For the June debate. Yeah.
I watch the Majority Report every day. Usually, I catch the end of it when I come from work, because I can't listen to the radio or anything at work because of the secrecy of the information that we have to protect. So I can only on my phone, and I just burn through my data if I do that. Unfortunately, there's no Wi-Fi in the building for obvious reasons. But so
is the Majority Report a podcast? You know, if you listen to podcasts instead, they use up a lot less bandwidth.
It's always video though. Like they don't have an audio. Well, they might have on their.
They do. I think they do. Okay. But it's like a country.
I am a member of their. Yeah. I think they do podcasts. I'll have to go on iTunes and get it right.
Yeah.
But
the other option is drop your screen down to 144 pp or 144p, because that's the lowest amount of information. If you're having it in high def, you're using up a lot more data than if you just got a shitty fuzzy screen, but you've got it popped in your ear, so who cares?
You could also there's another option of like subscribe to YouTube Red, and so that you can play that in the background or download them later. But that won't work when they're doing it live, though. Unfortunately for you.
Yeah, so. I might actually have to like. I just don't watch it at work anymore. I just like I'll if I want to watch the whole thing, I'll listen to like because they often they clip it so they get more views as they put out throughout the night of the show. But there's just like some that sometimes you don't want to watch the whole thing. So they do a 3-hour show like nearly every day, and it's longer. So it's kind of a lot to take in, but it's very good. Like I'm a member of like one of their members, and I Patreon like their other show. Michael Brooks is TMBS, which is good. That's more like a left wing, like hardcore left wing show because they go.
Michael Brooks is Marxist, isn't he? Or he says he is, right?
I think he's a communist. I don't know if he's a Marxist or some other permutation of that. But then there's like Jamie Peck who does her podcast, which is another. She's even further left than him. If
the Antifathers.
Yes, some people don't like that name because they think it kind of
too close to canon father.
Well, the with the Palestinians, they have the Intifada, every so often, like the second, third, maybe fourth one now, I don't know, but like when they have like the big uprising, so they feel like it's kind of making like light of that sort of unintentionally. But it's like when all those people use those keep calm and move on or keep calm posters. It's like a joke now. When that was like a big thing in World War II in Britain to keep everybody like during the Blitz.
Right.
People don't realize they're like. So I imagine all the people that went through the Blitz who are still alive are like, yeah, when they see that they kind of get mad. Probably, I imagine. This many people, but still, there's some people living from that time. So,
bye. I have to leave.
Okay, Tom.
I'm almost asleep already. So
you could almost just go lay down and drift off to the sound of our talking, which is probably what you'll do afterwards, right? Just leave the hangout and just go put on YouTube in the background and just hear us chattering away as you drift off.
I don't know if I'll make it that far.
Okay, sleep well. Gute Nacht. Schlaf schön. Oh, poor Tom, up so early.
He's old, okay?
He got up really early. He was in my chat when it was like 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning. It was ridiculous.
6 in the morning. Because he's in Wisconsin, so that's 2 hours ahead of me where I am in like Washington State, and it's what
but it's like me, Tom, and I have that thing in common. We have a tendency to sleep 3 hours, wake up, go back to sleep, then wake up again and do your thing for 2 or 3 hours, and that's depression.
Yeah. So anyway, just like to change subject just dramatically almost. I know that like it's some people in our audience are probably fans of like the Studio Ghibli, and so G-Kids this is for North America, sadly. So I don't know if like anywhere else in the world you will get to see these movies in the movie theaters, but like next month on the April 7th, 8th, and 10th will be the 15th anniversary of Howl's Moving Castle, and these
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind is the best.
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind is really good. Yes, I agree. One of my favorites is going to come at the end of July. And Kiki's Delivery Service. I just love that movie. It's just one of those.
But Kiki is cute. Nausicaa isn't.
Yes. Whisper of Hearts is kind of an interesting one. I didn't like them one as much, but I might be willing to watch it again since Renegade Cut put out a video essay based on Whispers of Hearts of how depression does not equal creativity. Then the classics, My Neighbor Totoro. Secret World of Anthony Neely is basically like the Studio Ghibli's version of The Borrowers, and the director who directed this also directed the Mary and the Witch's Flowers, which is on Netflix, so you can check that out. But that's from the new studio. That's not Studio Ghibli, but based from the same people, formed from the same people who are from Studio Ghibli, not founded Studio Ghibli. Anyway, then the Oscar winner, Spirited Away, one of my personal favorites, Princess Mononoke, and
Mononoke is like Nausicaa. It's savage.
Yes, but I think I want everyone, if you want to, please try and see the Tales of Princess Kaguya on December 16th, December 18th, because it's an underrated one. Most people don't even know it exists, and it's the last film by the director of Graves of the Firefly.
Oh, okay. So that's
Takahata.
going to be very joyful.
This
I
one is
saw
not.
it, and it's after a Japanese legend.
Yes, the Tale of the Bamboo Cutter.
Yeah, it's very interesting and beautiful.
Yes,
very funny in places, and the ending is interesting.
The ending is interesting. Unfortunately, that was a carryover from the original Fable, and it's like, suddenly that happened, and okay, but no, the animation is also, and the style of it is also very unique too. And it took 7 years for them to produce the movie Tales of Princess Kaguya. So there you go, Studio Ghibli Fest, presented by G Kids through Fandom Events. And no, they did not pay me to say this.
Ghibli is good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not really into anime, but those are good. Especially, well, in my opinion, especially the Miyazaki, because the other ones are too depressing for me. But, well, Nausicaa is depressing.
Yes.
No, not Nausicaa.
The Grace of the Firefly.
Mononoke.
Oh, Mononoke too, yeah. Okay, interesting thing, a little tidbit or trivia, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind actually was not technically made by Studio Ghibli because the studio itself was formed after Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind came out.
Oh, yeah, but it's Miyazaki, so...
Yes, it is.
And it's kind of savage. It's
yes,
if you want to watch a cute one, don't watch that one. Watch Spirited Away or Kiki.
Or Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, or Castle in the Sky.
Yes, Castle in the Sky is good. Another good one for this, like, since we're on the train of like recommendations, Mary the Witch's Flower is also on Netflix, like I already said, and that one's I liked it. I did a review of it actually on my channel, so you can check that out. And yeah. So what to talk about now?
Ooh, when's that top 10 list coming?
It won't be just top 10, but like it's going to be
2.5 years.
Yes, I'll work on it.
Do you teach, Kirsty?
No, not anymore. I used to. I don't anymore. My job requires no teaching or involves no teaching. Well, I mean, I still like do seminars and I do trainings, but I don't do an academic university course.
Yeah.
Although I might be working on developing one this year or next year, so it's kind of confusing. But but mostly no, mostly no. So, but sorry, Jonathan, just to get back, sorry, I wanted to engage a little bit more with your feedback. I will definitely do more hip hop because there was a good collab between Screw and Quedeca that I could talk about, which is awesome. And then I think you also, there was one other thing you mentioned that I can't, I was thinking when you were, Leto, what you were saying about topics, one thing I tried to do, at least I did once, is to do timestamps to go back and sort of figure out what I talked about where, so people could just drop down. And I figure those are useful, but it's also like really time consuming to go back and figure it out. I should just do it on the same day. And
it's a lot of work.
Yeah, especially when I would natter on for 2 hours. But there are basic categories. I usually do like 5 major categories, and then also like the break. And I come back and talk shit again, and I just don't count that and say, okay, Jordan Peterson starts at this time. So I'm thinking about trying to do that. And I was also on the podcasting stuff just to say that I was kind of surprised how much uptake there was. I thought it would be sort of single digits on the podcast, but we routinely get, I mean, it's not in the 90s or anything, but we'll get 15 or 20 people downloading the happy hour. And that's, I wish I had the energy. It's getting better now at work. But the reason I fell off of the podcast was because I used to do it on a lunch hour. I could just sit there and eat feed my face and do the Audacity and the intro and everything else. But as lately I get into the office and I have a pee break. I eat lunch at my desk while I work. I have another pee break in the afternoon, and then I go home. Like, I don't stop. And that's why I fell so far behind. So that's getting better, though. So hopefully the happy hour podcast, too, will come out. I want to give Kevin enough time to put it up on his channel and get views. And so it's usually like by Monday or Tuesday. So, yeah, just yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Where do you put it at?
Podbean. It's at Podbean. Yeah, there's a Podbean. Yep.
Okay.
I think if you look under the channel for any of my videos, I have a standard text that gets repeated every time. Well, not for the live shows, maybe, because I don't know if it's defaulted, but there's should be a link to the podcast in the description of like the happy hours for sure.
Okay. Yeah, because I use Spreaker a lot, so maybe I'll get Podbean. I can listen to that at work. I'm looking for more like stuff to occupy my time because I can't like watch videos and stuff and
Right. Yeah, Podbean is.
to
We tried Libsyn or SynLib. I can't remember. I think it's
Yeah,
Libsyn, but it was just really awkward, and they didn't have an app, and they were capping our megabytes or gigs every month. And Podbean, I know I checked out a Spreaker too, but at the end of the day, the Podbean offer it works out to like $15 a month for unlimited upload. And sometimes Kevin and I go 2 hours a couple times a month. So
And
that
speaking of Kevin Logan, he's in the live chat right now.
Hey,
He just joined us. Hey,
Kev.
Kevin.
I just know some people on Spreaker like they were choosing.
Fuck you,
Podbean and
Kevin.
Spreaker.
Sorry,
Spreaker
Tim.
is better for them.
You're gonna have to start over, Tim, because
I just
that
heard
was funny.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
a-
sorry.
There's a few podcasts that I listened to that they were choosing between Podbean and Spreaker, and then went Spreaker because they felt that, I don't know, Spreaker gave them a better deal. Like they were getting like a lot of downloads, like tens of thousands, and they got like a good deal. So maybe
Oh, yeah, we don't have that. Ours is about size. If we had a professional podcast of like 20 minutes
I don't think
every month, that would be fine. But
well, some of these podcasts are like really infrequent. Like they do them like they had like no set. Like at least you and Kevin have like a set like every week. These ones like 6 weeks go by and they all have like nothing, and then because they I guess have like really low fan base. They get a lot of downloads, but they're YouTubers too. But they have like just a straight audio podcast.
right, they just don't. Yeah, it takes time to like, because when I get the file, the way that YouTube does the audio is that they try to basically jack everything up to just below clipping. And that doesn't always work. And so you can get really uneven sound, especially when we're doing one of those audio playthroughs, like we're reacting to a video over a speaker. So for the podcast, especially, it's really important people can hear. It is it's the only input they have is the sound.
True.
So I have to go and based on what Matthew taught me, I go through and I'll equalize it out to take out the high and low frequencies. Then I compress it down, and then I will amplify it so it's at a comfortable level, but even throughout. So it amplifies the softer stuff while not amplifying the louder noises. And then mix in the intro and the outro, and then I have to produce it and then put it up on Podbean, and I have to give it a picture, and I have to put in the metadata, and I have to write a description. And like it's just. It ends up being an hour and a half or, an hour of work focused. And I know there's a lot of payoff for the audience, but sometimes making the time for that, you're like, ugh, like I'm running late, but I can't do it, or I just don't have the energy. But it's more work than I think people maybe realize. I mean, it's not a ton of work, but it is a good 90 minutes maybe by the time you get it all done and up and posted. So,
Yep.
Well, maybe not 90 minutes, maybe 45. Maybe I'm exaggerating, because it feels like a lot of work. Anyway, who wants to listen to me, bitch? Nobody.
Oh, hold on. We are friends of yours.
That's true.
We
You're
give
here to have me vent.
money. And what is good
Everyone
friend?
wants to hear you, bitch.
That's why they tune in on Sundays.
We want to hear you let
Hearing
loose.
people bitch is fun.
Yeah, I went off on Peterson today. That was kind of fun.
This Peterson deserves to be like led on. We just like, ugh.
Yeah, he's been crowded out by such real life news lately. It was fun to just go after somebody who clearly needed a dig,
Mm-hmm.
So, Captain Marvel, would you recommend seeing it? I haven't seen it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw it like last weekend actually with my wife, and she doesn't even like comics and all that stuff, and she thought it was good. I've seen her.
I
a few
haven't
comics.
seen it, but there's a cat in it, so I'm going to
Oh
see it.
yes,
Yes,
and that
yes,
cat,
yes.
that cat. You should see it. Just
I
for
don't
the
want
cat.
to know. Shh.
The cat is the best. And Fury.
Of course, it's the best. It's a cat.
The cat is also.
Yes.
I think it's like one of the best. It's one of the best grossing single movies, like standalone movies.
Definitely in March. Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah.
Okay, if you had to say, like, on a 1 to 10 scale, where would you put Wonder Woman, and where would you put Captain Marvel? For the people who've
Both
seen
at-
both.
both at like 8 out of 10 because like Captain Marvel would be like 8.5 as a word. They're both in the really good camp, whereas like they're Wonder Woman, it didn't have like major flaws that dragged it down. It was not bad, but it had some like elements that were not really good and not great, like in the last third act in like Wonder Woman. Same thing with Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
There wasn't just things that like elevated Captain Marvel to being great, like Black Panther or like Winter Soldier or Civil War, but there wasn't anything in Captain Marvel that dragged it down from being really good to just like, okay, you're pretty good. They did a lot, and hey Bruce Bardup's in the chat. Hi Bruce. They did in the directors and the writers and the creators of Captain Marvel did a lot to make sure it was not bad. There's a couple of places that like dragged a little, or there's a bit boring, and like it's interesting. My brothers complained about the soundtrack that it was distracting for them from their experience of the movie. Remind them of like the soundtrack of Suicide Squad, but I totally disagree. Well, in a couple of places, yeah, you could say like Garrett mentioned on our hangout, they could have used like the garbage song a lot more in the scene because well, he's a fan of that garbage song. That garbage song is awesome.
The 1990s, like they got like a James Bond theme. They got like a lot of their music at that time is pretty good. But they were going like for like a 90s like vibe because this was 95. But they play like a lot of like classic 90s music, so I think that's why they went with that kind of soundtrack. But I get like how like younger people who didn't grow up in the 90s were like, oh, I don't like this music because it's a product of the time. If you weren't aware of what's going on, it was like it kind of fits. But there's like a lot of universe filling in. Like there's like the story of like how like Nick Fury lost his eye, or and the pitch and all that stuff, and like the origin of like the Avenger name they bring that up at some point in the movie, and then but getting to Wonder Woman, they're very different tones. Like Wonder Woman has like that is in that weird place where DC started to shift like away from like the Zack Snyder like dark gritty I'm going for like the 40-year-old comic book fan kind of thing. And it's kind of like it still has a very like, I mean, it's World War I, so they kind of had to go for that kind of tone, like that, like what's the point of this fighting kind of that you don't really get with like a lot of other kind of like war periods. I find like World War II stuff is a lot more like uppy. It's not quite as like this is completely pointless, why are we doing it kind of thing. So there's like a lot of that in that movie, in Wonder Woman, the futility of war and all that stuff, and there's a lot of like dehumans deserve to exist.
Say goodbye, Leto.
And Captain Marvel's more.
Yeah, I just wanted to say goodbye. I'm going to bed.
All right. Have a good night. Hope you feel all right.
Oh, I'm going to feel great. I'm going to have an awesome night. I'm exhausted.
All right.
Bye. Bye. Have fun, babes.
Have fun.
Wow. So about Captain Marvel. It's like the Marvel formula, like it's an origin story again, sort of that they the problem with origin story movies a lot of times in comics is that the first two acts are like really good, and then when you get to the third one, it's always a letdown because they shoehorn like this like big action thing in it, and they kind of do here. Some people are complaining like, oh, she goes from like being like her level just jumps to like really, she's like Superman at the end of the movie, and but I'm like, well, if you know about like the character, that's how powerful Captain Marvel is. Like she's like basically Superman, and in the where I guess because the character male at points and the female at points, so it's not just one gender character. And some people get pissed about that, like, oh, it should be a man. It's
okay, yeah. That's going to spoilers.
Man, crowd people, bringing their head up, and they're trying to criticize Brie Larson for like, bitch. And she's outspoken, and like, I don't find that like she's what I think she said it was like too out there, like it's sort of, her criticism of like the comic book fandom is pretty spot on in my opinion, from my experience.
Yes.
They are a bunch of 40-year-old dudes, people are only a little bit older than me, like really jaded and really, it like all of it like ties back to like white identity, like the Gamergate, comic book skate. Like there's a
comic book skate
video, I think by Sean, like that YouTuber. Sean, he tied all of that back to white identity basically, and that's basically the origin thing that's going on right now. on the internet in real life, I suppose, too, in like the Western world. But
yeah, really, it boils down to I want every movie and every video game I play to show the character to be a straight white male, and I want there to be lots of boobs and women for me to look at, and that's how every video game should be. And if you have anything other than that, you're destroying my video games, my movies, my comics, fill in
My
the blank.
childhood.
Yeah, and you're like,
it's
get
just
over
their
yourself.
search for identity. Like he concluded that like it's they have like a lack of cultural identity in some ways, because a lot of they see like a lot of these groups asserting themselves, Americans in particular, and you know, like women, I guess, too, asserting like their media identity, if you want to call it that, more and more often. They're like, what about white guys, you know, or it's just white guys in particular, right?
Yeah.
You know, I don't feel like gay white men feel like that because their representations are going up, you know, right? But
I mean,
but if you're a
I mean, for like every, after Iron Man, no one would said we didn't need another Ant-Man. After like Captain America, no one said we didn't need another Doctor Strange. But yet after like Wonder Woman, they say no, we don't need another. Or after Black Widow, who doesn't have their own movie yet, we don't need another Captain Marvel. After like Wonder Woman, we don't need another whatever. They never complain about too many cishet white men in like representation and Marvel superheroes. That's like, yeah, I agree.
Personally, I liked Captain Marvel a lot better than
Wonder Woman.
Black Panther. Wonder Woman was different in tone, but I think from my liking they're about equal. I would rate them both at 9 out of 10. But the biggest advantage of Captain Marvel over Black Panther for me is one, the lack of the revenge plot.
Yes.
I'm so fucking tired of the thing. And at some stages, the protagonists in Black Panther really held on to the idiot ball.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
There's a few plot contrivances that are only explicable through sheer stupidity, because why did they never look in on how Eric was doing as a kid? Take him in, perhaps. Stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Plot
I guess the king like didn't tell him, like
King T'Chaka.
Yeah.
Well, his father, right? His father.
T'Chaka.
Yeah.
T'Chaka. Yeah. Sorry, I'm confusing him with
T'Challa.
Black Panther. With T'Challa. Yeah. So the king. I'm just gonna call him the king anyway. The king said like they just like put it under wraps, suppress it, and nobody knew, right?
Right.
They never told
T'Challa.
Or anyone.
Or anyone.
I don't even think the queen knew, like Angela Bassett's character.
Yeah.
Or like his sister, the child genius, or she's not child, but she's like just a genius in particular. But
the best Disney princess of all the Disney princess, Shuri is the best Disney princess, no question about it.
Yeah,
that's Shuri. See, that's a bit easier than her brother and father's names, but so Shuri like is like a very interesting character, I think, and from my perspective, anyways, because she's like the gadget whiz. You know, she's like like Tony Stark is basically that
she's
all together.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's Q. Yeah, female Q essentially. Which hey James Bond, you should do that sometime. A female Q. I think that would be sort of. He had like one old white guy and like one, and then the new Q was like a young.
John Cleese. They have a new young guy.
Yeah, sorry, there's two old white guys, and then it was like there's the new Q. He's like a really young guy compared to.
Well, when Idris Elba takes over the role, they can change it up that way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring her in as a Q. That would be great. She could play the role in two.
Yeah, they should. Craig is doing one more movie, and then they're going to shift again because, from what I've read, they don't really like to change James Bond that often because it messes up like their aesthetic, and they have to like change the aesthetic around the character usually. I mean, the guy playing him.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
because Daniel Craig's they chose him because he kind of has a reputation as like a gritty tough guy.
Yeah,
and they went in that direction with the one since Casino Royale, and that's why they chose him. So if they're gonna choose someone like Elba,
I think they could go more toward like a Roger Moore if they go that kind of classic elegant Bond, because I think Idris Elba could totally pull that off in like a tuxedo with the bow untied and a top. Oh, I'm getting already hungry.
How old is Idris Elba?
Sorry, his mid-40s.
Yeah, he would definitely like. Yeah, but it depends on the kind of. I guess with they can do stuff with stunts, but I think he would just carry that role. He could do it for 3 or 4 movies if they did.
Roger Moore has to be like in his 30s.
I mean, Roger Moore was pretty old.
He was old. He's as old as Sean Connery when he took over the role. So it's like
almost 60 when he finished playing Bond, like the last in 85, I believe, the last movie.
Yeah, with A View to the Kill, which
Oh yeah, View to a Kill with Grace Jones.
Oh yes, Grace Jones was the best in that movie.
The song by Duran Duran at the beginning was also one of the best parts of the View to the Kill.
Oh, that was my summer of. It must have been like 89 or 87.
85.
I was like a year old when that movie came out, but I'm watching it. But it's really
sorry, we're all just busting in Duran Duran.
I don't really just had like this forward thing with its female characters, because they had in the 60s they had like the Asian Bond girls, they had like African American ones, and I feel like it needs to jump ahead again. So if they have like I hope they do cast Idris Elba, because Bond only has to be an English guy, and he's an English guy, so that's really the only thing, right? As long as he's an Englishman, or a guy who can pretend to be English, like because Connery was Scottish, but I guess
from Britain, someone British
person, right? Yeah, because James Bond's actually Scottish, I guess, apparently, because there's Sean
Connery was Scottish.
Yeah, I think that's why I cast him. But yes, he's Scottish, because if you watch like Skyfall,
in the books?
I think in the books he is too. Like his home is in Scotland in a place called Skyfall.
It was a manor house, so he might not have been Scots, but English settler Scots.
Yeah. Well, just a British person is who is all that's required in my mind. Just a British person. Give me because it's a British woman, and that.
The novel reveals Bond is the son of a Scottish father, Andrew Bond, of Glencoe, and a Swiss mother, Monique Delacroix, of the Canton de Vaud.
I asked Google.
Okay, so he's Scottish and okay.
But yeah, he's half Scottish. Well, he's like Scottish. He's fully Scottish citizen because his dad was Scottish. So.
Well, a British citizen. Yeah, I guess.
Yes, he's a British citizen.
What would be fun would be a Bond with a northern accent.
Like a Christopher Eccleston. Oh,
yes.
Christopher Eccleston would be an interesting James Bond, because I think he's like not a tough as nails kind of guy, but he can play like that suave, sophisticated person, because he has range, and he can do different kinds of.
I just hope it's not like Benedict Cumberbatch or something.
Yeah.
Just like just make it just a British person. Like, don't make it like, because the one time was an Australian, it was outside a British person, it went terribly wrong. So let's just make it a British person.
Under Majesty's Secret Service wasn't that bad of a movie. I had to rewatch it.
It's just like a disaster as far as like what he did to like the I guess he like quit and stuff, and
he made the mistake of listening to his manager, who said, "Don't do another James Bond movie, just do this other project," and that project just never went anywhere. But like George Lazenby, the difference of the character, he made Bond emotionally vulnerable, and people didn't like that about James Bond as well. But like,
I like Diana Rigg in that movie.
He got married, and
Diana Rigg, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's Lady Tyrell from Game of Thrones as well, and Emma from the Avengers too as well. But that movie is kind of very controversial. I mean, I love it myself. Like I own like the 50th anniversary collection because I'm a big James Bond fan, always have been. But he wasn't an actor. He was a model, and they pulled him in because Connery wanted too much money, and it was like there's actually a whole documentary of how he became Bond and his decision to quit, and like his, basically it's his whole life effectively, but it focuses basically on his life as James Bond,
Well,
and it's very interesting.
Sean Connery wasn't an actor either. He was a bodybuilder and almost made was second place in Mr. Universal.
Really, like Schwarzenegger?
Yes.
Wow,
I
I did not know that.
He acted before James Bond though. Like this
Yes, but he made before James Bond. He made his money via bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And in one of the early Bonds, there's a shot of his bare legs, and you can see the bodybuilding.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you watch Thunderball in particular, where he's like skydiving, you can see like he's ripped, like he's like pretty strong. That's probably why he's lived so long, because he's so like well taken care of so far in his life. And
Yeah,
quite even now.
Thunderball also had an excellent opening theme song by Tom Jones.
A lot of the opening theme songs are iconic.
Yes. My favorite Bond theme songs are Live and Let Die and GoldenEye.
Yeah, I love GoldenEye. I love that. That's my favorite film too. But like that theme song by Tina Turner is great.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
That was right after Mad Max, right? The sort of her
Yes.
Mad Max soundtrack, and she's sort of
right
in her heyday. Yeah. Summer.
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, which Thunderdome was like a small part of that whole movie. That movie is very strange but entertaining. That was actually like late 80s, while GoldenEye was like 95. So that was
it would have been shot like in 93 though, so I guess it would have been like not that far from that movie.
The first one I remember clearly is probably For Your Eyes Only. Easton, I think.
Yeah.
I
remember hearing that growing up.
GoldenEye was the first I saw in theaters, but I watched all the existing Bond movies forever when they came on TV with my parents. Yeah. There was this one with Roger Moore with the Lotus with the theft protection device that explodes the car.
That could be in any James Bond movie.
Yeah.
What country was it set in? What was the location?
So it was a Lotus, or
it was a Lotus, yes.
Just a car.
The car, yes.
Yeah, like 90s then.
No, 80s. Roger Moore was like early 70s to mid 80s. Like that was his era. That sounds like For Your Eyes Only, maybe.
Could be.
Roger Moore had a lot of cheesy, like his reign is like known as like for its cheesiness.
Yes. There's the whole thing with the Adam and Eve plot.
Oh yeah.
You have to say the movie. I remember the one that sticks out for me is
Moonraker.
Moonraker. Yeah, that was very campy. And what was the one that took place with like the voodoo stuff and the sheriff?
Live and Let Die.
Which is a Paul McCartney theme song, which is good too.
Right. But that sheriff was also, I mean, there was just some like Dukes of Hazzard almost feel.
That guy shows up in multiple movies. He shows up in
Man with the Golden Gun, the next movie.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. With Christopher Lee, which is a great villain.
That's what got like Christopher Lee his like big boost to like stardom was like A Man with a Golden Gun, because Christopher Lee is cousin to Ian Fleming, so that's how he got that role. But Christopher Lee, of course, acted before in all those horror movies he did in the 70s as well. And Christopher Lee's fucking metal. We'll never forget how fucking metal Christopher Lee is.
It was in the
his ability, like it's amazing, like his performance in that movie.
Christopher Lee was in the Secret Service during World War II, and a director asked him to pull on his experience from there and die as if he had been knifed. And
I know a bit of the story. This was in Return of the King for the special edition, and Peter Jackson did actually had like a Grimace Wormtongue stab Saruman in the back, and Peter Jackson wanted like Christopher Lee to just yell out, scream, just typical Hollywood style. But then Christopher Lee said, actually, when someone stabbed you in the back, you pierced their lung. So instead, you do not have the ability to scream out. So instead, what happens is that you just lay out, you just expanded a big, large gas. And Peter Jackson is like, I'll just take Christopher Lee's word on that and have him do that for the scene.
Like, I know I stabbed people in the back in World War II. Like,
I think it was World War One.
Oh, he was? Okay.
I'll confirm.
Because Ian Fleming was a secret agent in World War II, and that's how you get the whole idea for James Bond from his experiences.
And he had a two-sword women.
For MI6.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw this BritBox watching this yesterday. It's very, for me, okay, let me start at the beginning. It's a show that was put on by ITV. It's on BritBox now. It's called Maigret. Yeah, I think it's a French like detective story. Yeah. But the lead actor is Rowan Atkinson from Mr. Bean and Blackadder fame. Right? I'm like, okay, this is a detective story and Mr. Bean is going to star. I'm going to check this out. And Rowan Atkinson is so amazing in this role. I completely forget he is anyone but the detective, Maigret, in this show. He's so good. So if you have a chance, do you know it?
Well, he also played James Bond.
Johnny English.
Johnny English. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Really funny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I just had no sort of expectation, and I've only ever seen him do comedy, ever. And so I didn't know how he would do in a drama. And I sort of like there's two episodes per season, and there was one in I think 2015 and one in 2016. So there are 4 episodes in total, running about 6 hours. And it wasn't until I was watching the second season, the first episode, to go, oh yeah, he's Blackadder. Mm-hmm. You know, I just completely fallen into his portrayal of the character. And to me, I was so consumed. It just shows how really talented he is as a performer.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a sore spot for him that people only remember him for Mr. Bean and the like.
Well, it's his own fault for being so funny and for deciding to do comedy in a completely universal form. The whole challenge of Mr. Bean was to do comedy that you didn't have to have spoken dialogue, so it could play anywhere in the world and people would laugh. He defined himself a little bit by his own success, so, you know, cry me a river. But
he's a good stand-up comedian too, as well. I don't think people realize that as well.
No, it surprised me.
His stand-up is amazing. I've heard people put in like one of his routines in like the top 10 of some people's lists. Like one routine he did.
Yeah, he started off in the dramatic club at, I don't know if it was Oxford or Cambridge, which one it was, but he was also there at the same time as like Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry and Emma Thompson and a whole bunch of really talented people. Oxbridge Footlights, I think it was, and they would put on, you know, their shows, and they would be doing skits. There's a really funny one where he's a college student. You can find it on YouTube, and he's pretending to be like the headmaster at a school, and he's reading off the day's attendance, and all the kids have sort of like names that are slightly rude. Yeah,
that's the one that people put in their top 10. Like there's ones YouTubers who that shows up a lot in people's top 10s. Is that routine that he did?
Yeah,
the headmaster one, or I mean the school teacher one, where he's leaving out the names, like they're like all like randy rude names, and he just kind of swings together,
right? And he's completely stern and stone-faced, and his timing is so good. Yeah, and his expressions too.
Like, children, the headmaster asked me to talk to you on the topic of smut, and then he goes all the names and all smutty names. That's what I set it up like that line.
Yeah. So he's been a talent for a long time, and apparently one of he has a stutter or struggles with that, and one of his very distinctive way in Blackadder of saying the word "bob." He does that because he's very self-conscious of not stuttering, and that B words were hard for him. So he sort of overemphasized it to make it easier to say, to not screw it up. So yeah, I guess that knowing that slight vulnerability about him is just like makes him. Oh.
I can identify with that because I have a stutter, so I try to avoid that. I know that like Winston Churchill had a problem, but he had a stammer, which is a bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, so he like literally the reason why he drank when he did speeches was to avoid it. Apparently, it's what I've read, and he avoided he had a problem with E's and U's. It's always like two different letters people have with these things. Me, it's like F, and I have a problem saying my last name sometimes to people. It starts with F. Yeah, I said a different last name, but
that's gotta be tough.
Yeah, and like P, I think something like that. Yeah, like everybody has a problem with different letters sometimes with speech impediments. So
I used to stutter as a kid due to a interesting school situation. The only thing that I have is that I still get stuck on K's sometimes.
Oh, by the way, I did research Christopher Lee on Wikipedia, and it's World War II that Christopher Lee was a secret agent, not World War One. He is old. He died old, but he wasn't that old.
Not that old. Okay.
Yes.
So Ian Fleming and Christopher Lee, they're cousins, and they were both like secret agents in World War II. And just interesting. And then Christopher Lee shows up in like his cousin's like one of his movies and stuff later on.
Yeah.
Well. We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes almost because we started 2 minutes early. So
yeah.
And also, I want to finish off Lisa for James Bond talk with my personal favorite James Bond is like just because we had the VHS of it and it was the most recent one at the time that I started watching it and rewatching it, even though it's like not everyone likes it for many different reasons, and definitely he wasn't the best James Bond. Damn it. Timothy Dalton's first one, The Living Daylights. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
I did like that one. The opening theme song is also pretty good from Aha, who did the song Take On Me. And yet it was a one-hit wonder.
Daylights.
Well, it was Aha were a one-hit wonder in the US, but not in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
In Europe,
they did in Europe.
Which I learned when I moved to Norway because they're like, it's like a bigger deal here because isn't that where they're from?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so in Norway, they're still a big deal, even I think now.
Yeah, I think they're retired now, but
yeah, they have been, but they still have a long career. They had a very long career,
40 years or something.
Wow.
Yeah, they started in the 70s because when I was there, it was like the early 2000s, like to 2011, and so they retired even then, I think. But they do like reunion tours every so often.
Yeah, when they needed to pay the mortgage. Like, all right, guys, come on, pack it up. We're going on a reunion tour. They'll see us for the next 5 years.
The dark side of reunion tours is people like have pissed their money away and they have to go more.
Yeah.
Well, guys, this has been fun. And thanks for everyone in the chat who stopped by. Kevin and Bruce, I don't know why you guys aren't here. You're members of the group. You could just have joined the link. I should have said that, but then the conversation moved on and I forgot. So sorry.
Oh yeah. Plus, we didn't know like how long we were going to continue talking. But hey, if like Bruce just suddenly showed up, then we will stay for like 15 minutes or more and something like that.
It's a discussion, right? So it just goes from stuff, I suppose.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, thanks for stopping by, you guys. And I have no idea when we're gonna do this in April, but we'll find. I'm going to be traveling a bit, but and also seeing Token live in concert in April. So I will definitely. Well, I can't. His YouTube videos, you definitely get demonetized, so I'll have to think about it. But anyway, yeah, thanks you guys for stopping by. Thanks for people in the chat for participating, and people in the future you're watching to the end. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. So until next time, I've been Christy. My patrons are always awesome. People in the chat are awesome. People viewing are awesome. It's goodbye from me, and say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye, comrades and potential comrades. Be well, take care, and stay awesome, my friends.
And on that note, bye.